Coming up on Carolina News, Obama's visit. Find out what students would want to ask Obama if they had the chance.
I just had chills running through my body, like how many students really get a chance to really see the President of the United States.
Also, students displaced.
It was basically like the Amazon River.
Why over 200 students couldn't sleep in their residence hall. And exchange troubles. What USC's international students do for spring break when home is thousands of miles away. Carolina News starts now.
Live from the capital city, Carolina News brings you your news first. With breaking news and in-depth reporting. Up-to-the-minute weather. And all your sports news and highlights. It's all here, now, on Carolina News.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Christina Bryant.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm George Copsis. Stores around the Midlands are selling out of one kind of armor-piercing bullet now that the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is looking to ban it. Kelly Wiley has more on why the possible ban is causing people to go up in arms.
This green tip bullet, known as the M855, is disappearing off the shelves. The bullet is fired from an AR-15 rifle, and now the federal government is looking to ban the green tip ammo altogether. The ATS says the bullet can pierce through police armor and that banning the bullet will save the lives of police everywhere. But here at the Palmetto State Armory, the bullet is sold off the shelves, and the store expects the same will happen for the next shipment within the week. Palmetto State Armory Chief Marketing Officer Adam Renola says people are thanking him for continuing to sell the bullet at a good price. Renola says the controversy surrounding the ban has more to do with the implications.
A lot of the hysteria around this particular ban obviously goes back to what is the slippery slope idea, that if they start regulating one aspect of a firearm rights, then that opens a door for it to constantly increase the regulations.
Adam Renola says even though the bullets are flying off the shelves, the possible ban is not that big a deal.
You're not regulating ammunition as a whole. You're regulating this one thing. Which
Senior USC student Braxton Allen sees another side.
An AR-15 is a nice rifle to shoot, but if it's able to pierce armor, which you don't need that for anything else. Like if you're going to be on a target range, you just need to hit the target. You don't need to pierce it.
That may be true, but Renola thinks people are always going to protect their right to the Second Amendment.
And you're telling them now in America, which is supposed to be the greatest country in the world where you can do whatever you want as long as you stay within the legal guidelines, that they can't do something. And you know Americans don't like it when you tell them they can't do something or can't have something.
And to some, this ban will be a direct threat to just that. Carolina News, Kelly Wiley.
The ATF's public comment period ends March 16th. It is possible that an executive order from President Obama could ban the ammunition. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just wrapped up speaking before a joint meeting of Congress. The event is drawing criticism from President Obama, the White House, and more than 4 dozen Democratic lawmakers who did not attend. Netanyahu is making a case against any nuclear deal the U.S. and others are negotiating with Iran. Netanyahu says that the proposed nuclear deal would leave Iran wanting more and would leave Iran with no restrictions after only a decade.
This deal has 2 major concessions. One, leaving Iran with a vast nuclear program. And 2, lifting the restrictions on that program in about a decade. That's why this deal is so bad.
Netanyahu cautions U.S. leaders to reconsider the deal, stating that Iran needs a deal more than the West.
Sarah Ames is out next door at the Darla Moore School of Business. Sarah, how's the weather out there looking today?
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, I have definitely got spring break on my mind because it just does not seem to want to clear up here in Columbia. We've got students trying to steer clear of the mist that's been left behind from those showers this morning here at the School of Business. Still pretty chilly, temperatures around the mid-50s and definitely overcast skies. Things are going to start to clear up around tomorrow. Temperatures are even going to rise to the high 70s, but of course it will not be here for long as another cold front is coming in, bringing lower temperatures and even a possible chance of rain on Thursday. I will have all of that and more coming up next.
Plans are in the works as Benedict College prepares for President Barack Obama's arrival on Friday. Rose Russo joins us here, and she was talking with students at Benedict.
we were at Benedict, and everyone on campus is very excited about Friday's visit. Students at Benedict are in shock that the President of the United States is coming to their school, especially Benedict leaders who will possibly get a once-in-a-lifetime chance to meet the President face-to-face.
It's just amazing to have the opportunity to just meet him and have him right in front of me, potentially shake a hand and have a conversation. I just think about it all week, and I'm just excited to meet Barack Obama this Friday.
Excitement, I just had chills running through my body, like how many students really get a chance to really see the President of the United States.
Daughtry and Wilson say if they were given the chance to ask the President any question, it would be
what his biggest struggle was getting where he got and how he overcame it.
I would pretty much say just how does it feel to be the big man on top? Like, this is the biggest leadership position that you can have, being in the United States.
President Obama's speech, however, is not open to the public. It's by invitation only, and it will take place at the Benjamin Resource Center. Benedict officials say some students will not be allowed to attend the speech. Students like Prayton Williams is curious to know how the president would have answered his question.
What plans has he seen gone through that he wanted, and how does he feel about things that he wants to come?
The Benjamin Resource Center will officially close tomorrow to prepare for the arrival. Students who are unable to come can watch the broadcast. Carolina News will also be streaming the speech live from their website, whitehouse.gov/live.
The Federal Reserve Bank of New York reported that student loan deficiency is at an alarming high. Though rates have improved since the Great Recession, the increasing trend of students receiving loans is concerning. Our Taylor Rose caught up with one student who is willing to take a high price tag in order to get a higher education.
It's kind of like I'm their last hope for someone to do it. So there's a lot of pressure on me, and I guess most of the pressure comes from myself too, and just wanting to break out of where I come from.
USC student Frankie DePruitt is on the path to be the first person in his family to receive a college degree. Frankie needed to take 3 student loans out per year, totaling $30,000 in order to pay for his tuition. He is doing everything he can to finish, including balancing 3 jobs and school.
I get home from work, I study. Get home from work, I study. And it's just like a constant preparation. I can't allow myself to procrastinate, because if I do, kind of at a loss.
Outstanding student loans in the country have reached over $1 trillion, and over 11% of the loans are in default. This is more than credit card, auto loans, and home mortgages over the past 3 years. Financial aid director Joey Derrick says the high default rate is not the fault of students, but reflects on a poor economy.
Generally, when the economy suffers, folks aren't able to make their payments, employers aren't able to hire as many people, recent graduates aren't able to find work that pays as well as they'd hoped, or perhaps work at all.
Regardless of who is to blame for the default rate, Frankie is still having to overwork himself in order to pay his loans when he graduates. Loans that will equal up to $300 a month over the next 10 years.
It's saving every little penny that I can to apply to that later, because I know after December, I'm not going to have those loans coming in. It's time to pay them back.
But Joey says that student loans are not a bad thing, but a necessary part of the education process.
If you expect yourself to be successful, you expect to finish your degree and go on to a rewarding career, then responsible borrowing may be a part of that goal.
Though still confident that borrowing money for his education is worth the risk, Frankie will still have the pressure of being the first to graduate and finding the right career to help him get out of debt. Taylor Rose, Carolina News.
President Barack Obama is proposing a pay-as-you-earn plan that will cap student loan payments at 10% of borrowers' monthly income.
Now listen up, moped drivers. Lawmakers met today to discuss legislation that could bring changes to driving requirements in order to ensure your safety on the roads. The bill would require moped drivers to wear safety vests at all times and continually flashing lights. Representative Bill Hickson is a sponsor of the bill and knows firsthand how lack of safety laws can be life-changing.
We had an accident the other day in North Augusta, had a fatality. A lady just turned right in front of a moped, and he hit the side of her, and it killed him. She said, I never saw him. He didn't have any lights on. He didn't have a reflective vest on.
He says the added cost of purchasing these safety features pales in the comparison to the cost of a life. Over 200 students at the University of South Carolina were displaced from their homes last night when South Quad Resident Hall flooded. A pipe burst on the 3rd floor, forcing all residents to evacuate immediately. Arsana Rodriguez has the story.
This scene looks more like a river than a residence hall, but this is what South Quad residents walked into Monday evening right before 6 o'clock. The water flooded from the 3rd floor and quickly made its way down the 2nd and 1st floors on the south side. Officials worried the water would be electrified, but were eventually able to shut off the power and the water within the building. Housing staff then completed a walkthrough of the south side to note any damages. It wasn't until 12 a.m. when students were allowed back in the building. One resident, however, couldn't wait that long.
It was basically like the Amazon River.
South Quad resident Brian Solomon braved the water to save something very close to his heart.
I knew I had to snap into, survivor mode, and I had to get any shoe I could get.
Solomon says he has most of his shoe collection here in his residence hall. Students who live in the south side of South Quad were relocated to other residence halls. They were allowed to return for a short period of time last night to gather 72 hours worth of belongings. They were placed anywhere from Bates to Women's Quad, wherever there was an extra bed to spare. Sana Rodriguez, Carolina News.
Damaged belongings were bagged by housing staff and sent to be cleaned. Items damaged beyond repair will be covered by the insurance on on-campus students that are required to have that at the moment. It's not clear when the students will be able to return to their rooms. Today is Free Pancake Day. You can come up to IHOP to get yours for free. The dining customers will receive a free short stack of buttermilk pancakes and are encouraged to leave a donation for the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals or other charities associated with IHOP. IHOP started offering free pancakes in 2006 and have raised $16 million for charities since then.
I most definitely plan on donating to some charities. I'm going to drop a few bands, lay a few stacks down, maybe $5, $10, and hopefully it'll go to a great cause and to somebody that needs it more than I do.
IHOP is hoping to make at least $3.5 million in one day. I'm not going to lie. If I had some pancakes, I would definitely be up there right now instead of in here.
I might have to just go up there right after we finish this show.
Seriously.
Okay. So coming up after the break, what unique challenges do USC exchange students face when preparing for spring break?
I believe that home is where your pet is.
And that loving an animal means never giving up on them, never letting them go.
I believe that when you spay or neuter your pets, you help decrease the number of homeless animals.
Because every dog and cat deserves a place to call home.
I believe that I found my best friend at a shelter. And you can too.
We believe that together with Best Friends Animal Society,
we can bring about a time when there are no more homeless pets.
Visit ambassadors.bestfriends.org.
My limit is 2, and I always make sure to eat something.
If I'm out for several hours, my limit is 3.
I know my limit is 1.
Until I'm 21, my limit is always 0.
Alcohol affects people differently, but the legal limit is .08 for everyone over 21. In order to be safe and stay well below the legal limit, it's important to know your limits and know the law. To find out more, go to responsiblelimits.com.
Spring break is a chance for college students to visit their favorite vacation spot or go home and relax. But what if their home is thousands of miles away? Sarah Ferraro tells us how spring break planning is different for one group of USC students.
Traditional USC students aren't the only ones ready for spring break.
I'm so excited.
Danielle Hagan is an exchange student from Newcastle, Australia. For months, Danielle and the other international students in her residence hall have had their perfect trip planned.
We're going to drive down to Florida, go to Panama City Beach and do the full experience. I kind of thought we're only in America once, we may as well do the spring break properly kind of thing, and so we can have some good stories to tell when we get home.
Madison McHale, who works in the International Student Services Office, says exchange students have a wide range of destinations for spring break.
Quite a few students say that they're going to be going on cruises. Some students opt to go back to their home country for the week. And then others sometimes will do, road trips. I've heard students randomly going to places like Nashville or Atlanta.
But some of the 1,400 international students studying at USC this semester face a challenge before break:
Their student visa requires a signature if they want to leave the United States.
So if they're going to be going back to their home country or, on some sort of trip where it's out of the country, but traveling within the United States, it's not really necessary to have that.
Whether the students are from abroad or right here in the States, they're all excited about getting some time off. Sarah Ferraro, Carolina News.
International Student Services will host its annual World Night in the Russell House tonight at 6.
Downtown Lexington is getting a makeover. City officials say that they are paving the way to attract more people to shop there. This includes building an outdoor amphitheater at the intersection of Main and Church, reducing road congestion on Main Street, and making signs that point towards city landmarks like the Lexington County Museum, which is where the very first house of Lexington was built in 1777. City officials hope to have the project done by mid-December. Voting began today for the first new sheriff elected in 2 generations for Lexington County. The race is between 4 Republican candidates: Richland County Deputy Justin Britt, Assistant Lexington Town Police Chief Jay Kuhn, West Columbia Police Chief Dennis Tyndall, and Criminal Justice Instructor Ed Felix. The race was created when former Sheriff James Metz stepped down after 42 years in the office. Voting will be open until 7 p.m. tonight. The next sheriff will take over in late April.
And it's been looking pretty dark out there today. Sarah, have the skies cleared up any?
Still standing here at the School of Business where the mist has continued, but don't worry, it's going to clear out tomorrow and temperatures are going to rise. I'll tell you just how high coming up after the break.
We're going camping, guys!
Hey guys.
The strongest families are built one moment at a time. For more ways to make every day count, visit facebook.com/makeeverydaycount.
Millions of people face orthodontic problems. Left untreated, they can detract from dental, physical, and emotional health. Detection and treatment by an orthodontist is the key to preventing and correcting these problems. With 2 to 3 years of advanced specialized education beyond dental school, orthodontists are dentistry's experts in the field of orthodontics. They're dedicated to straightening teeth and jaws. A healthy, attractive smile is priceless. Put yours in the care of the most qualified professional.
You know, Sarah, when I walked outside today, my hair just poofed up. What's going on out there?
You know, mine did the same thing. It's been really humid, unfortunately, and it looks like it's here to stay. Right now in Columbia, we've been having some cloudy skies. It's overcast right now. The temperature is 44 degrees, so it is a bit chilly. If you're out, you're gonna need a jacket. We've got winds at 5 miles per hour, east-northeast, and like we said, 89% for humidity. So gonna need to load up on that hairspray if you plan on going outside. As we look at the state temperatures, we've got 40s across the board. Now, when we do go down on the coast, it's a little bit warmer, 61 in Hilton Head and 62 in Charleston. Definitely the place to be right now. Now, if you're wondering why we are suffering with these colder temperatures, we've got a lot of fronts going around. So a stationary front up here, and this high pressure system is circling that Arctic air and bringing those cooler temperatures down to us. Now down here on the Gulf Coast, we do have a warmer front that's bringing warmer temperatures and some moist air. So that's why we're gonna have that raise in temperature actually up to 78 degrees tomorrow. Now where these two fronts are meeting here in the middle, we're getting some precipitation. We've got fog here in the Midwest and even some snow up here in New England. So like I was saying, as this front is moving and as all of the fronts combine, that's where we're getting this precipitation from. It's really building, and by tomorrow, really going to be causing a lot of rain in our area. We're not going to see the snow like some other parts, but that rain is going to be hitting us. Now, how much rain, you might be asking? Let me show you. We do have a map of our precipitation for the next 48 hours. As you can see, where that front was moving right here in the middle, where the cold and the warm front split, you can see the difference between the snow that's going to be hitting the north, and then, like I said, just precipitation, we're getting the rain here in South Carolina. By Thursday night, that rain is going to be getting more. Now tonight we're going to have cooler temperatures as the sun goes down, 52 here in Columbia. Tomorrow, 80 degrees. It's really going to warm up because of that warm front. We've got warmer temperatures all along the state. Taking a look at that 5-day forecast tomorrow, like I said, 78 degrees. So we're really looking forward to that warm weather. Now Thursday, we do have that 60% chance of rain, so you're going to need to prepare, maybe bring a rain jacket or an umbrella. As we move into the weekend, the temperatures are actually going to drop down to 49, but luckily the rain will subside. We're just going to have some clouds. So I know I am really looking forward to that, you guys.
Hey, I cannot wait. I got to get out my summer clothes for tomorrow.
It's almost time.
Should
Not
be
quite,
nice.
but
Should be
getting
nice.
close, definitely.
Should be nice. Coming up next, see how Clemson dominated the Gamecocks for the first shutout since 1972.
Well, Clemson obviously deserved to win the game today, and over the course of 3 games, they deserved to win the series. They played better than we did.
Have you heard? Scam artists are trying to trick seniors into giving them their Medicare number.
I heard that. This happened to my friend. A man came to her door wanting to sign her up for the new Medicare program. Well, when she got her Medicare summary notice, it was full of charges for services she hadn't received. So I did something about it. I joined the Senior Medicare Patrol, where I teach others to protect their Medicare numbers, review statements to spot false charges, and report suspected fraud.
We're asking folks about marriage.
You know, marriage makes me think of sports. You know, teamwork, dedication.
Okay, let's see what people say.
Let's say your marriage is a sport. What sport would it be?
Basketball. Surfing.
They have to be a team sport.
A lot of back and forth.
A lot of people watching.
So how many people are influenced by your marriage?
Hundreds.
You really think about the ripple effect.
It's like a wave.
Want to improve your marriage? For ideas, go to foryourmarriage.org. A message from the Catholic Church.
So Dawn, I heard Clemson gave us a little whooping yesterday. What was all about with that?
They did. I know Clemson is excited because the Gamecocks were left at home with a big upset after Clemson's record-breaking win on the field. The game began with the Gamecocks starting strong and a great diving play by Gore, getting Clemson's lead runner, and in the second inning there, Bright gets his second out for the Gamecocks. This momentum came to a halt when the Gamecocks tried to finish off the inning. But instead, Clemson's White serves one in the gap, taking the lead in. Clemson stayed very consistent throughout the game, taking every opportunity to get aggressive on the base pads. Check this out. Duggar runs in when the pitch hits the dirt, bringing Clemson up for a score of 5-0. There he is running in there, getting that score. That aggressiveness was certainly a theme for the Tigers last night. And in the 9th inning, Gore isn't quite quick enough for Slayton, who is sent to home plate. Look at him run, road runner in training. That boy is fast. The next pitch sends the breaking ball into the dirt, and it's thrown away by Hunter Taylor. Clemson scores again for the end score of 7-0. For the last pitch, Destino swings and misses, sending Clemson to a celebration of victory for the first shutout in Columbia since 1972. Bluffton High Star defensive end and USC star recruit Shamik Blackshear will not appear in court today for pending petty larceny charge. Blackshear was charged in February after allegedly taking a purse and safe from a residential home. The case has been continued until police can provide evidence in the discovery pretrial phase. USC Athletics say they will let legal process play out before deciding Blackshear's status. Boys high school basketball got some action last night with defending Class 3A champion AC Flora beating Lower Richland, earning Team A return trip to the state finals. Defending Class 3A champion AC Flora secured a second consecutive upper state title with a 77-49 win. The AC Flora Falcons won the game by posting 32 points in the final 7 minutes. The two teams had previously squared off with the Falcons, winning both games by a total of 10 points. AC Flora coach said the win came from hard work and preparation over the past 6 weeks. And for some girls basketball action, Spring Valley crushed Dutch Fork and are now advancing to the 4A state championship for the first time since 2011. With a 48-28 win, the Spring Valley Vikings earned their long-awaited bid at state championship. Meeting for the 3rd time this season, the Vikings knew they had to bring out their A-game to stop the Silver Foxes for the 3rd time. The Vikings got the strong start they needed and kept it up with their streak throughout the game. Dutch Fork's state title streak ends at 3, but the team is looking forward to returning for the next season. USC's head ball coach joined Twitter 2 months shy of his 70th birthday. By 10:30 p.m. last night, Spurrier had 41,931 followers. He said he's been very surprised by the reaction, and although he is not accustomed to Twitter terms, he said former USC quarterback Connor Shaw was the first person to, quote, tweet back. That's what you call it, a tweet, isn't it? So I don't know about you guys, but I'm following him now, and I'm so excited to see what he has to say.
I'm a fan of Spurrier. I definitely hit the follow button on him there.
I hope he follows me back then.
Yeah, we'll see.
Coming up after the break, these snakes weren't on a plane this time. Find out where they were next.
The strongest families are built one moment at a time. For more ways to make every day count, visit facebook.com/makeeverydaycount.
A quarterback, a class clown, a natural leader, someone's son, someone's father, someone's best friend. For those who died in the Vietnam War, the greatest tribute is to see them not just as names on the wall, but as the people they were. The Education Center at the wall will put faces to the names. It will preserve photos, letters, and mementos of veterans so their stories and sacrifice will never be forgotten. Call or click now. Help us build it.
I worry about my boyfriend. One minute he's supportive, the next minute everything is my fault. After he's had too many beers, he gets really angry and I become the target. My best friend, a social worker, told me to try Al-Anon family groups. It was a great relief to hear a new perspective for my problems. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon family group meeting from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or visit alanonfamilygroups.org.
A Canadian construction site is now free of snakes after more than 500 of them were discovered there. Workers discovered their den while digging under some rocks. They were wrangled and taken to a wildlife rescue center. Experts believe the snakes had been hibernating, waiting for warmer weather.
I came over here and there were buckets and Rubbermaids full of 350 different snakes, and later in the day we got about 150 more. So we have 518 snakes altogether right now.
I don't know about y'all, I might be a man, but I am not a fan of snakes. It's not my thing.
No, that's enough to make me quit my job, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
So what about that weather?
As we take a look at the final wrap-up of that 5-day forecast, Wednesday we are looking at that high of 78 degrees. That's from the warm front that we were talking about. Really looking forward to finally a peek of that spring weather. On Thursday, unfortunately, the rain is going to come. Those fronts combining are going to bring that precipitation. There's a 60% chance of rain, although it's still going to be pretty warm with 60. It is going to get very cold that night, 32. As we move into the weekend, Friday, the beginning of spring break, unfortunately, the high is only 49 as that cold front moves in. We've got cloudy skies really just taking us through the weekend. Saturday, 55 is the high, 35 is the low, and then Sunday, the temperatures are going to rise just a bit, hitting 64 degrees, and it's going to be a pretty nice to spring break. It's been mellow, but I know everyone's been hoping for just a little bit warmer than it's been. So I'm hoping that after spring break, the rain's going to be gone and the sun is going to be here to stay finally.
Yeah, I'm ready for spring. I'm done with all this.
I think we all are.
Yeah, I'm missing some of that famously hot Carolina weather,
Amen
definitely.
to that.
Well, that's all we have today. Thanks so much for being with us.
See you tomorrow and have a great evening.